Back to our regularly scheduled programming. So like I said, it seems that all the worries and the problems that people have had with TYT over the last 2 years, that have actually been amplified over the last 3 to 4 months. All the worst fears seem to be coming true. I don't know. Like I said, I can't even really tell you if it's, when it comes down to this particular issue, I'm not even sure if it's the money anymore. I think TYT wants to be on a winning team. I think they've even kind of accepted to a degree how much control they don't have over the Democratic Party. Is that they thought it would be easier to control. They thought it would be easier to navigate. It is not. And it's sad to me that we have gotten to the point. Like I said, first it was Jank with the Russia gate. Russia. Conspiracy. Got to the point of literal xenophobia. Right? Like, we know Trump exchanged money with the Russians. Okay? Maybe you shouldn't use nationalities or ethnicities like generally like that to describe exchange of money for favors. Once again, a little xenophobic. And then you had Anna with her personal grievance with Tulsi. Still don't get it. Probably never will get it because I'm sane and logical. And Anna at this point is questionable as far as her sanity is concerned. I literally witnessed her telling someone on Twitter the other day because he challenged her, said, okay, where are your facts at? The facts that you presented, you continue to get wrong. Like those are they're disproven and debunked. So where they move the goalposts every time Tulsi, every time somebody educates them on Tulsi's record, they move the goalposts. And so basically when somebody came at Anna and was like, look, you need to prove your point or just like admit that you don't really have one. She said, I will not be intimidated. Okay, relax, bro. First of all, if any of y'all want to intimidate me into not lying on people, I'd be perfectly fine with that. Just to let everybody know. But super chat real quick. Markel Claude, legislative representation of artists whom promote the community and nature of the wide and diverse otaku communities. Are you advocating for that? Because you should be. That's dope. But yeah. So, as if the issue with Jank wasn't enough. As if the issue with Anna wasn't enough. So we have the Russiagate. We're going to cover all the bases today. You got Russiagate. You got the Tulsi smears. So now we're jumping on the Warren train. Like I said before, everybody, I know that it was buffering, so y'all didn't get to see it. Channel your inner Tulsi. Channel your inner Aloha. Because by the time I'm done, it's going to be very hard for anybody to stay peaceful. Okay? So, let's hop to...
Well, the Bernie Sanders fans, and I would include myself in that, it's ridiculous. It's so over the top. There's not one candidate that's closer to the issues than Elizabeth Warren. And, she's even better on some issues than Bernie Sanders is, and more detailed, I would say, with her tuition. The backlash against her...
Oh, my God. Bruh. No one candidate close to the issues. Even better than Bernie Sanders on some issues. And Mr. John Iadarola. I agree. Oh, man.
Some of the Bernie Sanders fans, and I would include myself in that, it's ridiculous. It's so over the top. There's not one candidate that's closer to the issues than Elizabeth Warren. And, she's even better on some issues than Bernie Sanders is, and more detailed, I would say, with her tuition-free college plan. She's clearly worse on foreign policy and clearly worse on Medicare For All. There's no way around it. But I think what bothers people most about her is that she's very politicky in the things that she chooses not to focus on. So she's clearly...
All right. So, y'all, I don't know if you were able to watch. It seems like every time I try to play the video, specifically, which you'll be able to watch in playback, by the way. You'll be able to see it in playback, even though there are issues during the stream. Bruh. Oh my God, y'all. So let me get this straight. I want to make sure I heard it correctly. And you're more than free to go to John's Twitter and play the video if you'd like. Did she just say there is no one closer to the issues domestically than Elizabeth Warren? Matter of fact, hold up real quick. Did she just say there's no one close to? And then she said specifically that she's better than Bernie on some issues. Yo, I don't even know where to start, yo. I honestly, like, listen, when I tell you, when I first heard that video, Obi, it's not like Medicare for All would save thousands of lives. Nah, correction, Obi, millions, but hey. I was talking about this type of progressive earlier on Twitter. I was very specific. Basically, Anna, Jank. Hey, it's a channel you're in there, Bernie, bro. I'm trying. Emma, Anna, Jank, Sam Cedar, Michael Brooks, David. I don't know. David Pacman's full neoliberal at this point. They've been exposed as a new sect of progressive. I use that term very, very lightly. They are progress for me, progressive. Not progress for all. But as long as I can get some progress, they're perfectly fine with settling. What do I mean by that? Well, if Warren's in, at the very bare minimum, things would not get worse for the upper middle class. That's the best way to put it. At the bare minimum, things wouldn't get worse for the upper middle class. They'd still probably get worse for black people. They would still get worse for Latinos. Israel, Palestine, forget about it. She literally was quoting racist rhetoric used by Bibi Netanyahu, basically saying, well, they have to expand in the ethnic. She said the ethnic, what did she say? The ethnic population? There's like an ethnic population. Basically, she was trying to advocate for white supremacy in Israel. That's what the moral of the story is. Bruh. Closer to the issues than... Hold up. Real quick. What policy is Warren better than Bernie Sanders? Just Bernie at this regard, in this point. She says, well, she's even more detailed about her public college. No, she's not. She's literally not more detailed. The fucking plans that no one ever wants to go into detail on, that everyone swears Warren goes into detail on. The plans. Okay, cool. Real quick, Bernie's free public college plan. I know Emma just started tuning in to the progressive world, but in 2015, Bernie Sanders made it very clear. You tax, it's like 25 cents or something like that on Wall Street speculation, or 20 cents or something like that on Wall Street speculation. And then we take that money, reinvest it into public colleges to fund the education of children or college students. What are you talking about? She's more specific. How is she better? She never even talked about free public college until Bernie talked about it. More close. How can you be close to the issues? I'm confused. What? Okay. Emma, Medicare for All. I mean, she's kind of bad on Medicare for All. Kind of bad. She's just a little bit. Emma, real quick question for you. If there's any issue that is center to the idea of what progressivism looks like in the United States, what do you think that issue would be? I'll answer the question for you. It's Medicare for All. That has literally been the litmus test of all litmus tests. And Warren is against that. Even while not taking corporate PAC money in the primary, she's not against it, but she's not for it. She's really for whatever donors tell her to be for. You understand this? This is the pillar of progressivism that we're talking about. If you are not for Medicare for All, you can't be called a progressive. But hey, maybe she's voted in good way. Oh, actually, no. You know who Warren voted with in the Senate when it was time to privatize health care for veterans? She voted with the Republicans. In other words, the reason that my health care for TRICARE is now trash is because Elizabeth Warren elected to vote along with other corporate Democrats and corporate Republicans, except for, what a surprise, Bernie Sanders. Elizabeth Warren decided to vote to privatize veterans' health care because we all know health care has always gotten better the more we've privatized it. Yeah. I'm legitimately confused. I don't know what. As Emma is saying, well, she's kind of horrible on war, and she's really bad on Medicare for All, and the part that she liked to leave out, and most people that advocate for Warren love to leave out, and she said she's going to take money during the general election if she wins. What in the actual... What? Oh my God. What the... I'm legitimately surprised. So TYT has always been a little bit opportunistic, right? At first it was tolerable. Obviously it's grown to a level of intolerance. But when I thought of opportunistic, like, okay, they're going to make very neoliberal decisions, say some neoliberal things, but no matter what, when Bernie enters that race, there's not going to be any discussion. There's not going to be any equivocation. There's not going to be any capitulation to anything other than what Bernie Sanders has set forth as far as his progressive revolution at the bare minimum, right? I thought that was the case. I was giving them the benefit of the doubt in that regard. It's like maybe they're naive. Maybe they're just, I don't know. Maybe they're in a bubble. I don't know. But the woman who left the DNC to endorse Bernie is the one that Emma and Anna and those alike attack. They attack Tulsi. Baselessly so. But when it comes to Elizabeth Warren's foreign policy, it's... I mean, I know she's bad on foreign policy, but... Hold up. Weren't these the same ones that were complaining about Tulsi just being okay with the existence of drones? Like, they were calling her a hawk because of her being okay with the existence of drones. A stance that Bernie Sanders takes as well. But they would never in their lives call Bernie Sanders a hawk. But Warren's foreign... I know her foreign policy is bad, but hey, why are Bernie people upset? Bruh. How? I'm trying to like work through like the thought process here because I cannot fathom in any world that not advocating for Medicare for all, taking corporate PAC money, and being horrible on foreign policy, how does that not disqualify you from any progressive conversation? How does that not disqualify you from any vote from a progressive? By the standards that TYT tried to set in 2016, and by the standards that they try to set forth by attacking Tulsi Gabbard, they should be trashing Elizabeth Warren 24/7. They should be. But that's if they were good faith actors. And they're not. They're not. No well-educated political influencer, journalist, broadcaster, anybody, not a single person could in good faith argue. You can't even in good faith argue that Warren's a progressive. So let's be clear about that. But to argue that these are the same, Tulsi isn't a progressive, but Warren is. Bernie is unclear on his policies, but Warren is clear? Hold on. Which one of these candidates has introduced legislation for the policies that they advocate for? Bernie has. Tulsi has. Warren has not. Which one of these candidates 100% unequivocal Medicare for all supporters? Bernie is. Tulsi is. Elizabeth Warren is not. Which one of these candidates is refusing to take corporate money, period? Point blank. And even more importantly, which one of these candidates are talking about removing money from politics? Big money from politics, corporate money. Bernie Sanders, Tulsi Gabbard, Elizabeth Warren does not. Okay. Which one of these candidates is advocating for electoral reform? Actually, that's only Tulsi at this point. Elizabeth Warren does not. Okay. Which one of these candidates are the only one? They're the only one who is actually good on foreign policy. Tulsi Gabbard, who's also as anti-war as you could expect in 2019 out of all the other candidates. It's Tulsi Gabbard and Bernie Sanders. Which one of these candidates said, I actually support Trump's diplomatic decision to install Juan Guaido in Venezuela on Pod Save America? Who said that? It wasn't Bernie Sanders, and it wasn't Tulsi Gabbard. So that means right now, as she's running for president, she said that she supports Trump, the enemy, right? Trump gets everything else wrong except for when it's time to initiate regime change. Okay. She supports Trump now, installing Guaido over Maduro. And we just heard from the recording from Pompeo, they have no fucking idea what they're doing in Venezuela. The idea that Guaido was a chosen opposition, and is being uplifted by his people and by the other politicians. She's going to be commander-in-chief. Who is the only one who did not fall for that from the very beginning? That was Tulsi. Bernie eventually changed his tune, said, no, we cannot call Maduro a dictator. He is not one. And the aid should be international. It should not be coming from the United States. So Bernie at least got that correct. Warren has not. Warren does not give a fuck about the Palestinian people. Only Bernie and Tulsi have come out. They've evolved because they were trash on the issue too, admittedly enough. They were bad on the issue of Israel and Palestine. But only Bernie and Tulsi have come out very specifically and say they are anti-occupation, period. Warren has not said that. Bernie spoke out against what was happening in Standing Rock. Tulsi Gabbard was there. Elizabeth Warren tried to use her Native American heritage for her own benefit. And when it finally came down to it, this is before we even had the DNA test, which made it all the worse, honestly. But when it finally came down to it, Elizabeth Warren said, let the workers work, and was nowhere to be found when her people needed her. One of the Native American women lost an eye. That water supply is permanently contaminated. We violated treaties with the federal government to get that pipe done. Warren was nowhere to be found. That's when she wasn't running for president. Hold on. One of these women, once again, backed Bernie when Warren was acting like a punk ass somewhere, hiding in the cave, absorbing all the adoration that she had yet to receive because people thought she was going to endorse Bernie. But once again, this is Whiplash Warren. Whoop, whoop. Break your neck keeping up with her. You don't know which way she gonna go. Now, let's be very clear about something. I'm privy to this information. And so is Emma Vigeland. They have more access, more time, more researchers, more money. So that means, because she admitted, yeah, foreign policy, but I don't understand why people are upset with her. Look, the fact that Emma literally is admitting foreign policy don't mean shit to me because I don't have bombs getting dropped on my house. Those brown people over there, that's their problem. That's what Emma, that's what Anna, that's what they're basically okay with. That's what they're claiming by staunchly defending Elizabeth Warren. She admits that she's aware that Warren is not for Medicare for All. So basically, I got my money, I got my health care. Fuck all of them who don't got their health care. They can figure that shit out themselves. But I know Warren gonna look out for me. That's what they're saying. That Native American woman who lost her eye, the people who were sick beyond belief because of the winter, the harsh winter, people who lost their home, fuck them. They're unimportant. Fuck those Palestinians. They're unimportant. At least she gets free public education right. Bruh, there is nothing in this world of politics that makes me more angry than these melanin challenge limousine liberals pretending to be outraged at us because we won't bow down to their neoliberal-like candidates, because we rightfully call out candidates who plan on taking corporate money, because we rightfully call out candidates who are perfectly okay with international law being violated every single day in Israel and Palestine. Candidates who vote to privatize veterans' health care. Candidates who don't support Medicare for All. Candidates who are okay with openly fraudulent and illegitimate coups. Candidates who, when everyone needed them the most, were silent. And they got the nerve to talk. I don't understand why they're upset with Warren. You know what? Hold the fuck up. We don't understand why you're upset with Tulsi. For what? Why? Because she won't smile in your face and play nice after y'all try to openly smear her? I wouldn't either. You're lucky she still gives you interviews because she's better than me. The thing is, what TYT has realized, and this is speculative. They know that they fucked up by smearing Tulsi early. They know it. And the next step for TYT would be getting into the White House. And also following closely on the campaign trail a progressive candidate in the general elections. Who do you think they probably wouldn't be really close to? Maybe the one that they smeared openly. Maybe the staff might not be so nice to TYT after they tried to basically sink Tulsi's campaign before it even took off. Because they jumped the gun. For their own personal reasons, I'm sure. Yeah, they could probably get access to a Bernie Sanders presidency, but they could for sure get access to an Elizabeth Warren presidency. And let's be honest. White women love nothing else more than having someone who looks like them in power, even if it means brown and black people die overseas. It's like what they say, oh man, I wish I could remember. What do they call it whenever the white people go to Africa and hold their little black babies and pretend like they care about them? I can't remember what the phrase is called. But that's basically it. Anna tried to pretend like she was just so appalled by Tulsi's foreign policy. She's so appalled by it. Emma tried to pretend so appalled by it. She's appalled by Tulsi's foreign policy of peace and not funding terrorism and calling out Bibi Netanyahu. I mean, that's some appalling foreign policy, Tulsi. You gotta get that stuff together. Well, what about Warren? I mean, she's pretty bad, like one of the worst, actually. Yeah, but it's okay. Oh, so when you want to weaponize the plight of black and brown people overseas being bombed by the United States against Tulsi, a woman of color, whose job it is in the military to save people's lives, that's the woman that you have a problem with. When you want to weaponize those experiences against her. But when it comes to Warren, those experiences are all of those black and brown people who've lost their lives. All of a sudden, those experiences aren't important anymore. You can't understand why people are frustrated with Warren. Interesting. Can somebody cite to me one of these pieces of legislation that Warren has introduced over the last 3 years for her plans? Bernie's introduced Medicare For All. Bernie's also introduced the Bezos Act, amongst some other things. Tulsi, Securing America's Elections, Off Act, Stop Arming Terrorism, Stop Financing Terrorism. Introduced the amendment to make LGBTQ members protected by the Civil Rights Amendments. What has Elizabeth Warren done? What the fuck has she done? She got plans now. John Kerry had plans too. That's cute. Just like hers, we don't know what the hell John Kerry's plans were. Barack Obama had a lot of plans too. But Barack Obama took a lot of corporate money too. And Elizabeth Warren, like Barack Obama, is a wrong combination of spineless and corrupt. But maybe that's why people like Emma and people like Anna don't like Tulsi. Tulsi is the antithesis of everything that Anna and Emma represent. That limousine liberals in general represent. When power had a chance, they had their fingers on her, could have corrupted her. She looked at the establishment straight in the face and literally said, fuck that. Said, I'm not scared of you. What did the power do to them? Well, they accepted $20 million. And we're all pretty hush-hush about what it did to their power structure. When power looked at Jimmy and corruption looked at Jimmy straight in the face, he left. He fought back and then left. Calling out his own network. Tulsi Gabbard calling out her own party for cheating Bernie Sanders. Warren, she sounded off. She did exactly what they said. She was walking over. She was marching to Bernie. Then the drill sergeant was like, "Ho, bro, hey!" She said, "Oh, my bad. Sorry, guys. Didn't mean to. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Didn't mean to. My bad. I didn't want to convince you I was going to Bernie. Hillary, I'm here. Don't be mad. Please don't be mad. Don't take away my corporate money, please. Oh my God." So, let me go over some of these super chats. Dan Campbell. We don't give TYT enough credit. Supporting establishment candidates is a tough job, and they do it well. Isn't it, though? Especially when you're trying to pretend to be progressive. Gabriel. Sending some love from progressives in Sweden. Man, look. The way I keep telling you, Gabe, the way this keeps up, I might have to move to Sweden, dog. I think we had one more. Willem Rupenshire. Oh, man, you can do it with a cool name. Both sides of this issue are unbearably irritating me. TYT majority report bashing Tulsi is harmful to the progressive movement. Bashing Warren is not equally bad. Bashing Warren is not equally bad because she's not a progressive. I do not know what it is going to take to get it through your thick skulls. Warren takes corporate money. Warren is pro-war. Warren is against Medicare for All. Warren did not back Bernie. Warren did not back the natives at Standing Rock. Warren voted to privatize the VA. Warren is not progressive by any stretch of the imagination. At the bare minimum, she is kind of what Democrats were supposed to be. And even that's only at her convenience. She's not progressive. Not progressive. I don't know what she's not progressive at all. She's not. And it's sad that our standards have gotten that low that we're like, oh, attacking Warren is the same as attacking Tulsi Gabbard. Is it really? Okay. So my question for you is, and this is always a pretty damn good way to determine whether or not someone's a progressive, if they're on your side or if they're the enemy. Hey, in the media lately, who have you been seeing propped up by Joanne Reed, Rachel Maddow, CNN? Who's been being propped up? Who has been propped up? More than anybody else, actually, at this point. Like the current flavor of the month. It's been Warren. It's been Warren. Propped up. Checked off, signed, seal of approval from the DNC and the establishment. And on the other side of that fence, who has been smeared relentlessly? Not only since she's announced, but the more popular she gets, the more of a threat she becomes, the more they've smeared her. Real quick, who was that? Oh, that's right. That's Tulsi. In fact, Bernie has been smeared more than Warren, and Tulsi has been smeared more than Warren. It's almost as if out of the three, there is only one of those candidates who the establishment approves of. And if the establishment approves of that candidate, it's probably because... Come on, y'all can finish this with me. Because she's going to do what the establishment tells her to do. Let me explain something to you. Do you know why she hasn't introduced legislation for her plans? Because she has to get the corporate seal of approval on any plan she wants to introduce. How do we know this? Well, Tulsi Gabbard actually gave us some insight into this. She said some of my colleagues in the legislature, I'm not going to say any names, but some of my colleagues, some of them even running for president, they want to do an ad on legislation that they're, legislation, a stance, a policy that they are in support of. If the ad is a conflict of interest with the money that they are getting, corporation, lobbyists, whatever, calls them, change that shit. You're not running it. Guess what they do every time? They change that shit and they don't run it. And so she has all these plans, but she hasn't introduced legislation for them. Well, why doesn't they introduce him now? She's still in the Senate, but once again, she can't introduce him now because she doesn't want to scare off corporate money. It's almost as if corporate money has an influence on how someone will legislate or advocate for particular policies. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe. Yes, the answer is yes, it does. It has an influence. There's no excuse. There's nothing to justify. It would be different if they were celebrating Elizabeth Warren in a vacuum. I would still be irritated, right? I think all of us feel that way, right? I'd be irritated, but I'd be like, whatever. Like, it is what it is. If they're just trying to not be divisive, cool. But you're celebrating Elizabeth Warren and then pretending like the things that are bad about her aren't that bad, when those things that you say are bad about Elizabeth Warren are like that you forgave her for. When you talked about them with Tulsi Gabbard, you pretended as if this woman was the Antichrist. Oh, okay. Let me get to these super chats before I go. Great White Shark. Funny name. Warren is Hillary 2.0 without Parkinson. Oh my God. Oh man. Hey, it's Ali. Sam Cedar says Jimmy left TYT because he apparently lost a debate with him in 2016. What debate? Sam Cedar is a dumbass. So there's that. GTA V man. Warren complained that Trump was giving too much to defense contractors, then voted to give those defense contractors even more money. Yes, you did. Thanks for the super chat. Gary Edwards, thanks for the super chat. You should cover Jon Stewart's house address on 9/11. Is there a new one? I know that there was something about the medical coverage and the cancer that was given to them. I'll be interested to know a little bit more about that. Super chat, Michael A. Goddard. I keep saying on my Twitter, Warren ain't progressive. I will only vote for Tulsi or Bernie. 100% with you. Alina C. Please don't say white women. I'm not going to lie to you. Can't really get down with that because white feminism is a thing. It is actually a thing in academia. They call it like second or third wave feminism. Can't remember which one it is. But it's actually a thing to describe white feminism and the apathy that they have towards anybody that does not share their very specific experience and privilege. So that's a thing. I mean, you can't get mad at me over that. I mean, I'm saying. Man. Y'all. Listen. It's this simple. And it's really, it really is. It's this simple. Do they take corporate money? Are they anti-war? Are they for Medicare for All? It's that simple. The answer needs to be yes. Period, point blank. There is no but. Public college. You're skipping steps, Emma. You're skipping steps. If you're not anti-war, there's nothing else for us to discuss. If you're going to take big money from corporations, there's nothing else for us to discuss. Period, point blank. With that being said, people, thank you all so much for tuning into this live stream segment of Mikasa and Sukasa. You can help make sure the show continues to grow by donating to our Patreon. The link is in the description below. But also, you can help the show grow by you donating to our PayPal, which is in the description, and through Cash App. If you can't do monthly donations. So greatly appreciate all the recent patrons on Patreon. Like I said, if you donate $5 or more with that donation, if you attach a subject that you want me to cover, I will cover it and give you a shout out. But you gotta like DM me the whatever you want me to cover on Patreon so that I know you want me to cover that story. Looking forward to seeing what stories y'all have for me. And with that being said, people always remember, were there anything else? You know, maybe y'all can tag Emma and Anna to give her the message as well. Find your balance. Peace.